r/2x chromosomes. Individual Trash 452 says, how rare is it for a woman to not get any male attention? People talk about wanted or unwanted male attention like it's something that even the most conventionally unattractive women experience regularly. The thing is, I'm in my mid-20s and I've never got any male attention in my whole life. I've been called ugly a few times, but even ugly women supposed to get at least catcalled sometimes. It's not like I want attention from creepy men, but the lack of it makes me feel like a freak. A few days ago I saw a man hitting on a below average looking, slightly overweight woman in public. She rejected him because she was allegedly in a relationship, so the man apologized, wished her well, and told her that she looked beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, I've got a bit jealous. When I tell other women I get zero attention from men, they think I'm lying, or I'm too blunt to notice it. It's like a universal female experience, to be desired by men, and I just feel shut out. They also say it's easy for a woman to get sex, but even ugly men seem to avoid me. Trust me, I tried to get their attention. Sus5823 says, my friends and I have noticed that the vast majority of our catcalling happened when we were ages 13 to 17. I'm 26 now and can't even remember the last time I was catcalled. Insufferable says, yup. Before I hit 20 I got loads of annoying comments. After that, nothing. Mind you, I have a fabulous resting biatch face. I hate that phrase, but it's the best way to describe the fact that I look like I wouldn't put up with any catcalling bullshit. Frankenbird2077 says, I've never understood catcalling. I would die of embarrassment if I catcalled someone and they shook their head in disgust or got angry. Dudes that do this, are they just straight up sociopaths? Italian Insomniac says, I've honestly never met a woman who hasn't been catcalled, and I have met women of all levels of what you are describing as attractiveness. It's entirely possible you haven't noticed being looked at or even catcalled. With that said, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but it seems that you spend a lot of your time talking about being ugly and undesirable. I can tell this is a really important topic for you, but there is very little we can do about our facial features or many other body traits, aside from surgery. Accepting the way we look is fundamental to allow us to live our lives. If you are as unhappy with your looks as you seem to be, I would really recommend looking into therapy, because you need to be able to accept yourself and your looks, whatever they may be. Please don't tie your self-worth to creepy men catcalling. I'm sure you have a lot to offer to friends or a partner, regardless of your opinion of your looks. There isn't only one way to be beautiful. Fashion models aren't the only people who deserve love and respect. But if you spend all your time thinking about and talking about your looks, you are wasting time of your life you could be spending in ways that could contribute to your happiness instead of bringing you down. Sinapia says, I've also missed the unwanted harassment boat. I'm skinny, no curves, and ugly, so I guess that's why. ZMB7L says, maybe you put on a good resting biatch face? I'm an attractive and fit woman and I don't get hit on nearly as much as a lot women do, and I find predatory men mostly avoid me altogether because in the unfortunate times for them that they do try me, I'm not a nice woman. And I'm well aware of the dangers that can come with rejecting a man, particularly shit ones. But I don't feel it, so my urge to roast someone overrides any instinct of self-preservation. I've been told I walk and put off a vibe of cold hard confidence. Perhaps you're the same way. Beep beep boo bop 1 says, I'm an average black woman in a majority white city, and I'm essentially invisible lol. When I lived in Toronto I would get attention not like daily, but I'd get both good and bad attention. Location matters. I have an hourglass figure too, and whenever I went clubbing with my white friends men would never ask me to dance, but they'd get asked all the time, and the conventional attractiveness varied amongst them. It's nice not to be harassed, but I also do wish I was wanted. r/2XChromosomes. Brilliant Chip 1751 says. Diagnosis: anxious and thick. For months I randomly had fainting, rash, moodiness, and heart palpitations. I shrugged it off at first, because it was probably a weird couple of days. Besides, I already felt like a burden after asking my friends for rides to work. Eventually I realized it kept reoccurring. So, on an especially bad day, I went into the clinic. I was so worried I'd faint and get in a car crash on the way there. After waiting an hour in a patient room, the young male doctor said no tests were needed, since I'm a young healthy woman. I insisted on an EKG. After that was done, they left me alone again. All of a sudden, I felt super nauseous and laid down on the cold sterile exam table. To semi-successfully keep my dinner down while I waited for results. What if it wasn't that, and now I owed them hundreds for an EKG? I just hope they'd be able to tell me the cause. Half an hour later, the brunette doctor walked in again. He flippantly asked about my periods and sexual activity while looking through the test results. At last, he looked up from his iPad and diagnosed me as overweight and anxious. 9 months, many doctors, a self-diagnosis, and a 400-mile trip to an allergist later, I have a hormonal autoimmune disease. Turns out, the fainting was my organs shutting down. I cold died. Women's symptoms aren't taken seriously at all. I'm a little sad to lose my medical designation as simply too bootylicious though. Parasolifus says. I consulted with my esteemed colleague, Drive. Beyond Knowles, and my diagnosis is that you can't handle all this jelly. After your real diagnosis, would this have been fatal without treatment? Brilliant Chip 1751 says. Right. Probably, my allergy attacks got worse each time. At some point they get so bad they stop your heart or breathing. My final doctor seemed shocked I was so okay. He called me a special case and told me to take double the typical medication dose to start. Cereal Sandwiches says. Yep, my foster mum was having weird symptoms, including randomly having allergic reactions to nothing. Like riding in the car somewhere and suddenly breaking out into hives and having trouble breathing. She went to the doctor twice over a year, he just told her she had to lose weight. The third time she went, she wouldn't leave his office until he ordered some tests and scans. Being fat is hard on your body, but stage 4 lung cancer that's metastasized to your brain is worse. Miss you, mum. Starther Bulldog says. OMG, stories like yours make me incandescently angry. It's such a cliche now for overweight people's health issues to be blamed on being overweight. You'd think word would have gotten around the medical field that it's bullshit, but nope. Frick, that doctor. I'm so glad you finally got a real diagnosis, and I hope you're feeling better. Brilliant Chip 1751 says. Thank you, frick, that guy. The most ironic part is I'm literally borderline on the worthless BMI scale and a G cup. Anything to avoid investigating the real cause. I can't imagine the experiences even larger people have to go through. Langster says. Yeah, they said I was fat and I needed to lose weight. So I did. In 3 months I lost 60 pounds with no diet change. Oh, suddenly I've got a problem, huh? I'm not just fat, huh? Hoping to receive confirmation on which mixed connective tissue disease I have. FYI, if you can bend your thumb to your forearm or grab your hands across your back, go to the rheumatologist. You're hypermobile and incredibly susceptible to these types of autoimmune disease. Samiradisha says. I'm so very sorry that you were treated like that. In 1800s the doctors diagnosed women with being a witch, in 1900s with hysteria, in 2000s it is anxiety and all in your head, except sometimes they would tell you are fat. I work in healthcare and here is my advice. Write a detailed review on this doctor, and if they were in a hospital system, file a complaint and a claim for emotional and physical damages due to delayed diagnosis. Hire a lawyer if you need to, but likely they will settle the case. Unless we raise voice, this won't change. In the future, find a PCP. I strongly prefer females who you trust and have a relationship with. Best of luck, and I hope your health condition resolved completely. r/2XChromosomes. Old School Guy 1-0 says, is it ever okay to tell a woman that her makeup is not flattering her? If yes, how would you like to be told? So my mom is now in her 60s, and she barely wears makeup on a day-to-day basis, just stating facts. To each their own, and more power to everyone. She is gorgeous, kind, and an amazing lady. When she gets ready for parties and events at home, her makeup complements her well, and is balanced, enhancing her natural features. However, for a few occasions every year, like marriages etc., my sister and my mom goes to the beauty parlor, salon, to get ready. Well, that makeup does not complement her at all. They make her face all white. Like in Mulan, when the ladies get her ready, she is brown, which stands out as being so much lighter than the rest of her, and the wrinkles are visible with cracks in the foundation making them more visible, and the fake eyelashes and all are not complimenting her either. I've seen this happen a few times now. Hence my query, is it ever okay to tell a woman that her makeup is not flattering her? If yes, how would you like to be told? I apologize if my phrasing, or my question in its entirety is offensive. Erebus83 says, I think it is okay to let her know if you are sure she was going for a flattering makeup, and not something that was more meant to be popping or artsy. Maybe just not directly at an event, where she has no chance of changing said makeup, otherwise she'd just feel bad all event. Poor Dimitri says, I might seek out a beauty parlor run by brown women, or a brown makeup artist, and direct mom there instead. Hey mom, I heard about this really neat place I wanna try, let's go, or gift her a $50 gift certificate from there. If they do a much better job, and she likes it a lot more, then she'll go back there, and if not she'll go back to the first place and you'll have done about all you can do politely. Sakasa5 says, the salon needs to stop lightening brown women's skin tbh. Get the Eurocentrist beauty standard out of there. Mcom says, your mother looks in the mirror. She goes out of her way to go to this place. I don't see what is to be gained by making her feel bad about how she looks. I mean, your sister is there too. Your comment to each their own and more power, because she doesn't regularly wear makeup is weird and comes across as superior and judgy. This sounds like what kids call a you problem. I'm not seeing any kindness in your post. Her wrinkles are visible? JFC, she's in her 60s. Of course her wrinkles are visible. Your post comes across as very high school mean girl. If you do mean well, then I'd work on your delivery, but my advice is to spend time thinking about what is really motivating you here. Chang Hyan says, if it was a woman you didn't know, well I'd say no, but she's your mother, and you know she's conscious about it, so I think it's alright here. I'd say something like, Mum, you should be working in that salon. Your makeup that you do yourself is always so beautiful. That opens up the conversation, and depending on what she says next, you can then gently move into saying you don't think the salon makeup is flattering. Or alternatively, you might research other salons with better reviews, especially if they have pics on their site or Instagram of women who are mature, or who are brown like your mother. Both mature skin and darker skin have different makeup needs to young white skin, and a high quality salon should be able to cater for all types of women, and if you can afford it, get her a gift card, or pay for a session with them. Say something like you wanted to treat her, and this place came highly recommended by a friend or coworker. And then ideally she might be able to see the difference for herself. Luke 80 says, I'd leave it alone, unless she asks for your opinion. She's had a long time to figure out what she likes, and she's earned the right to wear it. If she likes getting properly lacquered up for a special occasion, just let her enjoy it. Starther Bulldog says, some issues are important enough that you must address them and risk hurting someone's feelings in the process, but it will be for the greater good of your relationship. This is not one of them. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.